Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office Teardown Lab. I have a gadget, and that gadget is in the awkward to reach place, but I do sometimes want to reset it. So I bought this to try to facilitate that. It is indeed a wireless switch, remote control, current 10 amps. So that's certainly on paper, and here's a bit of paper, would suggest it can do most things that nearly anybody would want to do. So let's see what we've got here. So you've got a learning button and an on-off button. Okay. Is there anything? Self-learning features. Low energy consumption. Able to resist high levels of interference and barriers such as walls and glass. Well, that's good for a wireless product. Needs to be. Just trying to see if there's anything here about inductive loads and things like that, but I think I'm just going to try it. But before I try it, let's assume it's working. It probably, well, I was going to say probably isn't, but I'm sure it is. Have a look inside. So we know what's inside these. Normally they're just pretty boring, like a doorbell, but this is the bit that I'm more intrigued about. And if you think about it, it's a little bit intriguing because the screwdriver doesn't work, because a doorbell will be using the same technology as this. Can this be interfered with a doorbell? Because that could pose a sort of safety critical scenario depending on what you're using this remote switch for. So if you've got it switching some lights, unless they're on your landing, it's probably not so much of a big deal. But if you've got it hooked up to your food processor and then someone's sort of randomly turning that on and off, I think you've got a problem. So be a bit careful where you hook up your wireless light switches. I used to have this X10 system, and X10 is really expensive in the UK. It's it's a relatively old system, but it does work. It's just a simple system. It does work. You have addressable wall sockets and light switches. The light switches are dimmable, and the wall sockets are basically resistors. So one's sort of triac based, and one's relay based. I said resistors, I meant relays. So the difference is, of course, you can use the different types of loads. Let's just get that out. So for example, if you wanted to run a fluorescent tube, you wouldn't be able to use that actually on a lighting module because it's got the dimming stuff, but you could run it off a maintenance module. Okay. So it does have some sort of pseudo protection here. It doesn't feel that legit in terms of meeting BSI and those things, sort of British standards for it, but that's probably alright. So you've got your fat old relay in there. That's good. Capacitor, another capacitor. So usual, it's just a simple switch actually. So you're limited. It's a 16 amp 250 VAC switch, and it's running off 24 volts. So it's a 24 volt relay. Not really much on here apart from that's clearly the sort of receiver. So the control logic is likely just to be, I'm guessing this receiver is just switching that directly, but that's why it sort of poses a bit more of an interesting question here, because you've got these various statuses on the front. So let's turn this over and have a look at what statuses we have. So you've got power and on, and then there's something in the middle that is missing, because you can see this R9 footprint here. These pads, they're not populated. Reset, on and off. So I'm guessing the switch for the relay probably just goes through up to this top PCB, and the control logic really of what the relay is doing is here. So this will have the sort of latching, and let's have a look. That could be a microcontroller. Anonymous chip there, unfortunately. And the other one is, it's an Atmel. A little Atmel 24C02N, Atmel 611. So yeah, just a little micro controlling the current state of the latches, looking out for the wireless module and then flicking it accordingly. So not really too much to see there. Let's just have a quick look at the old soldering there. Yeah, even the soldering looks okay. It's just lightly soldered, but just on there. It's on there. The earth is going straight through, so you've got your earth, but no fuse as far as I can tell. Yeah, there's no fuse on this. If there's an issue, this thing's blowing up. But that's pretty typical for this sort of thing, you'll find when you import them or you get them on eBay. I quite like this capacitor footprint though here, because look, it's just, they weren't sure which one they're going to shove in there, so they've got all the different holes, different sizes. So I think we're going to pop that back together. There's not, again, it does sort of make you wonder though when you're sort of installing these things in your house, is this thing going to sort of burst into flames? But I suppose it's probably safe enough, really. Contact gap. Haven't really seen contact gap before. So a bit about that X10 thing. The X10 was interesting because I sort of hooked that all up, and I then got this program for my PC because I had this sort of serial interface. It was a timer that had a serial interface, so you could hook it up to your PC as well, and it could sort of address each device over the serial and just say like turn the living room lights on and turn wall socket 14 off. And it was back in the day, and it had a really early sort of equivalent of your sort of Google Voice type thing, and it would listen out for a keyword, but every now and then it would just get confused a little bit, maybe how Google occasionally Google Now gets confused, but it had this sort of butlers sort of thing, and it would just go hello, hello, and await your command. But if you actually if you just sort of sleep at night, every now and then you just hear this hello. That was a creepy Jarvis. So I'm just going to chuck it on a heater and we'll see if that works. Okay, we're here in the dusty bowels of the back office. Just going to plug in this heater. Fortunately we don't need it, but yes, that's on now, buzzing away. Take that off. Let's plug in our magic switch. Yeah, not really seeing much action on the actual LEDs and whatnot. Okay, it wasn't working because I hadn't assembled it properly. The two PCBs weren't meshing, but I have now, and look, hooray! That's pretty much it. So I'm going to put my load on. We'll step back. Ready? Moment of. There we go. Heat. No heat. Heat. No heat. Excellent. It works. That looks pretty good. It was a bit annoying actually. They didn't come with a battery. I did that off camera. Put the battery in from some other remote control. But yeah, that's kind of annoying. So if you do buy one of these, and I'll try to put the link in the description down below, make sure you get the battery. Please let me know on your remote wireless experiences, and do you have your home all automated up, and does it work for you? As ever guys, thank you for watching.